Hello there, my name is Alex Wilson. I'm an accredited mental health social worker and owner of Mindful Recovery Services on the beautiful New South Wales Central Coast. If you're watching this video, it's probably because you are interested in our DBT group program. So in our private psychology practice, we do a range of different therapies, but one of the ones that is very close to my heart and that is really at the core of what we like to do is dialectical behavioral therapy, or DBT for short. So a little bit about this therapy, just to give you a brief background if you don't know already. So DBT therapy was originally developed by a US psychologist a couple of decades ago now called Marsha Linehan, and she developed this therapy for the treatment of borderline personality disorder. That may or may not be a term that you're familiar with, but if it is, borderline personality disorder, until DBT therapy came along, we really didn't have any effective treatments for borderline personality disorder. And so DBT was really the first time we had an effective treatment, because for people with BPD, medications typically don't work very well. Other forms of therapy don't work very well. Case management and risk management don't tend to work very well. And so DBT therapy came along and brought something really, really different to this space, which was amazing and really, really life-saving. And when I say life-saving, I mean that, because people with borderline personality disorder, unfortunately, are quite high risk in regards to suicide and things like that. So DBT therapy was shown to be really great for borderline personality disorder and is still the gold standard in treatment for BPD. But since DBT was introduced, we now know through lots and lots of peer-reviewed studies and research that DBT therapy is actually really great for loads of different things in addition to borderline personality disorder. The core component of DBT therapy is about emotion regulation. So any person that walks into our practice who's struggling to regulate their emotions, and it could be that they're struggling with anxiety or depression, it could be that there's trauma in their background, it could be life stresses, it could be a range of different things that are causing the difficulties. But we find that where that is the core issue, these people do really well with DBT therapy. So emotion regulation, what does that even mean, right? So the people that often join our DBT program will report that they feel that their emotions really run their life. Yeah, and that they really don't have any control over those real ups and downs in their emotions, that they can go from 0 to 100 in, a second flat. And that, there's a real lack of control, and this has been going on for a really long time. And, they're trying everything to try and change that, and nothing's working. And so in DBT therapy and in our group program, we really address the issue of emotion regulation at its core. And we look at very practical skills and strategies that people can learn to better regulate strong emotions, to be able to sit with and get through very strong emotions without having to resort to really drastic behaviors. Yeah. So there's a range of different things that people might come in with when they start our group program. There are some behaviors that are pretty common. Things like self-harm is very common in the clients that we see. Drug and alcohol abuse. Some people find that angry outbursts have become really problematic for them, and they feel they can't control that. For other people, they find that they really avoid a lot of life, that they don't do things because it triggers a lot of anxiety or fear, or people with trauma histories, avoid things because of those trauma triggers, and they really feel stuck because the emotions feel so intense and so strong, and they're kind of out of ideas. They've tried all the usual things, to help this, and, talk to yourself rationally, or remind yourself you're safe, or think positive, and those things just aren't working, right? So in DBT, we come from the perspective that You need to learn new skills and strategies to manage strong emotion. And we actually want to change your relationship with strong emotion so that it's not so big and scary, so that you feel really confident after you finish the group program that, like, you know what, I don't like it when distress shows up, but I can handle it. I don't have to resort to those, drastic behaviors that cause problems down the track. Some people we see come to the program because they feel that they really want to change their behaviors, and that some of those problem behaviors, are causing a lot of problems. Other people come because their family and friends express concern and say, hey, I think that this is something that's a problem, and maybe, should get some help with this. And often it's a combination of the two, right? That people around us are starting to say, or have been saying for a while, you don't seem okay. And we're really feeling like we're not okay. The people that come to our 12-week program, a lot of them have had lots of therapy before. Not all, but a fair few. So if that's you, if you feel like you've tried lots of therapy before and nothing's really worked, this is actually a really great program to try, because it's very different to any other therapy program that you'll try. We have a range of different ages of people that come. We have an all-age DBT group program, which is open to anybody from the age of 13 and over. And we also have a young people's DBT program that we sometimes run throughout the year that's more targeted towards teenagers and young adults. It might be in the future that we run some more specialist groups, but at the moment, those are our two main groups. And so, really, if you're over the age of 13, we can definitely accommodate you. And our groups are capped at 10 participants maximum, so they're nice and small. We typically have 2 facilitators, a lead facilitator and a co-facilitator, and then the 10 participants. And we're very mindful about making sure that we put people in a group that are going to, be okay in a group together. We're very mindful of that dynamic. So, if you're a person who, has tried different things before, but still really struggling to regulate your emotions and just feeling out of control a lot of the time, this is definitely a program that you should consider. If you're someone that has a diagnosis of borderline personality disorder or traits of borderline personality disorder, this is definitely the program that you should do. So the program structure, there's 3 main parts to our program. The whole program runs over 12 weeks, and it's an intensive program. Some DBT programs run for a year. We've chosen not to do a year because we just find that's a really long time for people to commit to. We may down the track run that program, but we find the 12-week program, we can get the bulk of the content and the skills covered. Some people, after the 12 weeks, they'll continue to see their therapist, maybe monthly or every 3 weeks, just to continue that support and to consolidate their gains. So that's a really lovely way to continue if you choose to after the 12 weeks as well. So there's 3 main parts to the group. We've got the group itself, which is 2 hours once a week. We've got individual sessions, which is 50 minutes once a week, which is just one-on-one with you and your individual DBT therapist from our practice. And then we also have phone coaching, which is where you can text your individual therapist 24/7 for help with any of the skills and strategies that we've been working on. So I'll talk you through each of those 3 in a little more detail. The 2-hour weekly group. So this is an education style group. It's not the sort of group where we sit in a circle and all kind of share our feelings, although plenty of people do share personal stuff in the group, and that's totally okay. But it's more of an educational learning group. So the way it's set up is that the lead facilitator, which is usually me at the moment, will, present the module for this week and the material for this week. And then we'll have a range of different exercises in the group to kind of put that into place and explore those concepts and skills a little more. And of course, people are welcome to share as we go, but that's definitely not the obligation. So if you're somebody who's not really keen on sharing in a group, don't worry about that. We've had participants that have been through the whole program and have chosen not to share in any group, and that's totally fine. But if you want to share, cool. So that's that's 2 hours every week for the 12 weeks. Then your one-on-one individual session with your individual DBT therapist. So we pair you up with somebody from our practice who has experience with DBT. It's usually myself or the co-facilitator, and you see them every week at a time that's agreed on for 50 minutes, and that's really your time to check in about, okay, what's happening in your life at the moment, and how have you been this week, and looking at, we give you ways to sort of monitor mood and different things in between sessions so that we can see how you're going. And then we talk about specifically how might you apply the skills and strategies to your own life, right? We also, of course, deal with any crises or different things that are popping up or things that are bothering you. And we look at how we can use the skills and strategies to tackle that stuff one-on-one. So that's your own time individually. And then phone coaching. So phone coaching is not something you have to use, but we very, very strongly encourage it. It's completely unique to DBT. I'm not aware of any other therapy that has phone coaching as an element to it. Basically, you can text your individual therapist anytime, day or night, if you need some help using skills. So we can't always answer. Like if it's 3 a.m, I probably won't answer. But we give an assurance we will get back to you within 24 hours, and we're usually pretty good on the text. If it's daylight hours, we're pretty quick. So a typical phone coaching scenario might be, say I have a client in the program and they message me, they're like, hey Alex, like I was at the shops and I had this massive panic attack and I left my trolley and I just ran out, or and now I feel so bad and guilty and I don't feel like I'm ever going to get better and I don't know what to do, and da 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 da. So, I might reply something like, okay, that sounds really horrible, first of all, and intense. But second of all, well done for texting. And then, okay, so what can we do about this now, right? What skills and strategies that we've been working on can you use to go back into that shopping center at some point, or another one, at some point, to get the groceries that you need, right? And as the program goes on, of course, we have many more skills and strategies to draw on. And I might say, okay, how about we try this skill that helps change your body chemistry, right? And see if we can get that anxiety and panic to settle. How about we use a self-soothe? How about we use an opposite action, right? So these are all terms for different DBT skills that we use. And so you start to develop this vocabulary and this toolbox of different things. And phone coaching works so well because you learn how to put the skills into your daily life, right? Because everything can sound so great in the therapy office or in the group, and then you leave and then life happens and it's gone, right? It's that really putting it into place that's the hard part. And the clients we work with who use phone coaching get better much quickly than the ones that don't. So we really encourage it. So yeah, that's a really important part of the program as well, that if you join us, I hope that you'll utilize. So those are sort of our main components. Now, if you're interested in finding out more about the group and all the nitty-gritty about, fees and rebates and all that sort of stuff, we have an info pack that we can send you. Just let us know. But this introductory video was just to give you a sense of who we are, what the program's about, and hopefully you've heard something here that resonates with you, that you think, yep, this is the kind of program that I'd like to do. It is, of course, an intensive 12 weeks. There's no doubt about that. It's a time commitment. It's a money commitment. And it's an energy commitment. It's a mindset commitment, right? Of really throwing yourself into the 12 weeks. I worked out that for somebody who comes into our group program, you're guaranteed 36 hours of face-to-face therapy. So that's not counting phone coaching, that's extra. But if you don't use phone coaching, you'll get 36 hours of therapy in this program. And if you were seeing a therapist once every fortnight, that would take you 1 year and 5 months to get through the same amount of content, right? And I think that it's much more effective, and this is why we've done the intensive program. It's much more effective to throw yourself into an intensive program, get it done over the 12 weeks, get loads and loads of intensive support, rather than dragging it out over 1.5 years, right? Because you lose momentum, lose motivation, you forget what it is I'm supposed to be working on, right? And it just takes so much longer. You end up spending more on it. And this is why we developed it this way. Get in, get it done, get some real results. And of course, we have ongoing contact and support available if you want that as well. But the outcomes that we've seen in our program have been really positive. They've been really lovely group dynamics, and people have said they've really enjoyed being part of a group. We have a little Facebook group that we set up for each individual group so that you can chat and share ideas and things in between sessions if you want to. We've certainly had clients who continue to have contact with group members that they've connected with afterwards. So it's also really nice to meet people that, maybe have been struggling with the same things that you have. So that's some general info for you. If you're interested in more detailed information and you think you might want to consider signing up, please let us know. So you can contact me or any of my team at Mindful Recovery Services, and we will send you all of that information in an info pack and help you to get set up if that's what you want to do. We would love to see you in one of our groups in the near future. Okay, thanks. Bye.